guys, welcome. I need to close my closet. Welcome to today's video. So today I have a mukbang for you, which I haven't done in a long time, so this will be interesting. We'll see how it goes. And as usual, I have a lot more food than I was expecting, and there's like no way I'm gonna eat this all, but good thing my boyfriend's coming over later so he can finish whatever I don't. So I also have a crazy story, but I'll talk about the food first. I ordered Indian. I have been craving Indian food for so long. This place was open for lunch, so I got their vegetarian lunch special, and then I ordered these on the side. Honestly, I don't even know what this is. All I know is that this one's chana masala, and I think this one is paneer. I honestly don't know. I'll write it in the description if you really care, but I don't think you do. And then I got some naan. They gave some basmati rice. That's what came with my lunch special, and then this weird dessert thing, which looks kind of nasty. I ordered on the side some samosas and some veggie pakoras. If you've never had Indian food, like seriously, you're missing out. You have to get pakoras. You have to get pakoras. They're so good. They're basically like a deep fried vegetable fritter. They're so good. And then I have some cupcakes. I got a cotton candy cupcake. Your guess is as good as mine as to how good that's gonna be. And then I got a cinnamon delight cupcake. I got this massive whoopie pie. And then I got a mini egg blondie. This all looks incredible. I want a pakora in my mouth right now. So I'm gonna dig into some of this. Then I will get into my story for you guys. Some tamarind sauce. Okay, oh my goodness. That is so good. These ones I can tell have been cooked a little too long. They're a little bit dry, but I'm still probably gonna eat all of them, so. And if you're Indian and you're watching this and I'm eating this wrong, I'm not Indian. What do you expect? I wasn't born eating this. I grew up in a very, very white town that didn't get an Indian restaurant until I was like maybe 16. Oh. Before I start with the story, I just want to say that this is probably, actually no, not probably, this is going to be a two-part mukbang story. So it's a really long story, and it's not yet resolved. I still have ongoing issues with my landlord. I'm taking him to court, so that hasn't happened yet. So this will be the first part of the story, and then when I feel like it's appropriate to kind of cut it off, you'll have to wait for part 2 of a different mukbang, which will have different food. So basically, I've been living in this house with 3 other roommates from last April until today. Like, what is better than potatoes in puff pastry? I don't know. So yeah, I've been living here for about 10 months. I never had any issues with my landlord. I would see him every now and then. Nothing would happen. It was fine. Oh my god. These are incredible. Wow, this place is incredible. That's one of the best samosas I've ever had. So in January, one of my roommates is moving out. He moved to Toronto now for work, so we knew he was going to be gone by the end of January. We all rent separately, so I just rent this room. The other roommates rent their rooms in this house. Chana masala is so good. My one roommate's leaving at the end of January, so my landlord on January 13th, so halfway through January, he tells us in our WhatsApp group chat that he is taking back his place for personal use, and he says he will want us all gone by the end of February. Wishes us all good luck and says he'll be a reference for us, all that stuff. At that time, I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, oh great, he wants to move back into his house. Okay, like what am I gonna do about it? It's his house. It's honestly the worst timing too, because mid-February, you guys might have heard me talk about my trip. I'm literally supposed to be in Bali right now. I'm supposed to be in Indonesia with my best friend. I'm not, which I'll get to. The shittiest timing. Me and my boyfriend are looking for a place to live right now. So I'm supposed to find a place for maybe like 2 or 3 months. I don't really know how long it's gonna, till we move in, but I'm supposed to find a place for 1 or 2 months and then move again. Like, that's shitty timing. And then B, I'm supposed to be traveling from February 18th to March 5th. During the time when I'm supposed to be vacating this spot in my house, I'm gonna be traveling. Like, how shitty timing is that? So So after he sent us that, I started looking for another place to live, thinking like, okay, end of February I'm gonna be gone. I ended up finding something, so all was good. And I was planning on moving out February 15th, so I would have a few days to move all my stuff before my trip on February 18th. So it kind of sucked, but like, what else am I gonna do? Oh, it's got cauliflower. So cauliflower, I think it's gobi. I think gobi is cauliflower in Indian. So every time you see like aloo gobi, cauliflower. And I think aloo is potato. That's actually good. So January goes, and the very last day of January, I come home from, I don't remember where I was, but I basically just come home to grab some work things and like something to eat, and then I have to run out the door to work. And I think I was working like 7 or 8 p.m. that night. I come to the house and I realize my landlord's vehicle is parked in the driveway. Really don't think much of it. I'm like, okay, whatever, he's just grabbing something, I don't know. And then I come in and I see him, he's in the kitchen looking at mail and stuff, and I'm like, oh hey, we asked each other how our day was, blah blah blah. I come upstairs, grab my stuff, go back downstairs to the kitchen, and he's gone. So I just assume he went to the basement, which he did. And I literally just make myself some oatmeal to take to work, and because I was in a rush. And then the doorbell rings, and my landlord lets this lady into our house as if she's gonna move in the next day. Like, he starts showing her our kitchen, explaining like our self-closing cupboards. It was fucking weird. I'm literally like, what the fuck is going on? Why are you showing our house? Like, I thought you were taking back the house for yourself. Clearly you're not. Like, what the fuck? This is good. I don't know what this is. I'll put it on the screen, obviously, but it's delicious. So I just go to work. I honestly tried to leave as quickly as possible because that was the most awkward thing I've ever experienced. Me like pretending I didn't know what was going on. Well, I didn't know what was going on. And I just left for work, didn't really tried not to think about it. So maybe 2 days later, it was February 1st, February 2nd, one of my roommates is still kind of moving his stuff out, and obviously nobody was gonna move in because my landlord was, taking his house back for personal use, so this room would just be empty. And my landlord shows up to get his room key and stuff, whatever. And let me tell you, my landlord has never ever said when he's coming over, so he'll just pop up whenever, and he literally has no decency to tell us. Yeah, he's helping getting the key from my other roommate and whatever. And then my one roommate comes home, and me and my boyfriend, I think we would just finish snowboarding that day, so we were sitting at the table just relaxing, playing crib, I think. And so my roommate comes home, and he comes up to us, and I'm just gonna call my landlord Stuart. My roommate comes home, and he's like, comes up to me and my boyfriend playing crib, and he's like, oh, did you know Stuart has our house up on Kijiji right now for rent in March? And I'm like, obviously not. I didn't fucking know that. So I was like, no. And he shows me the ad on Kijiji for our house. It's literally our house on Kijiji for rent next month. And I'm like, what the hell? He tells me that when I was gone at work that one day, that my landlord, Stuart, let 3 families into my room, my bedroom, and showed them my room without my permission, without telling me or any of that. He was like, yeah, I heard him let 3 families into your room when you were at work that night. And I was like, I was pissed. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that is so disrespectful and illegal. Okay, I'm gonna try one of these desserts before I get too full. A little scared of it. So this is the cotton candy cupcake. Oh. That actually tastes like cotton candy. I'm gonna video record on my phone so you guys can see this. That is really good. This, the cupcake part is really moist. It's so fluffy. Okay. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like that, but that's good. Okay, I'm gonna try whatever this is. Looks like sweet potato. That is yummy. I love Indian food. Holy moly. It's so underrated. Okay, at this point I was like pissed at my landlord. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is he showing people my room? Why is he like lying to us saying he's taking back the house for personal use and he's actually renting it out to other people? And so the next day I start calling the tenant landlord board, or like going online researching about the tenant landlord board, trying to figure out like what other illegal shit he's done that I can call him on. So I find out that in order to actually take your house back for personal use or to move back in and sell your house, you need to file a form with the tenant landlord board and give 60 days notice to your tenants, which he did neither. So, and then I obviously knew that you have to give 24 hours notice before you enter the rental unit. You have to give 24 hours written notice before you enter the unit, and then you also need to say why you're coming, and there's some exceptions, but that's like, the gist of the rule. You need to, make a valiant effort to give notice. Which he never has. So, the next day, I draft a letter. I was so pissed. I did this all so quickly because I was ferocious. Furious. Ferocious too. But I sent an email to my landlord telling him that I contacted the tenant landlord board because I noticed you have illegally breached the rights of our tenants. Okay. Basically, I literally say the sections that he has breached in the email, saying section 20, section 27 outlines that the landlord must give at least 24 hours notice, written notice, before entering a rental unit and provide valid reasoning for entering the rental unit. And I said this has been breached many times, saying how disrespectful he's being to just pop over without letting us know. I tell him that what he did last week was very disrespectful, showing people my room without my knowledge. I'm going to be filing a T2, which is a claim that you have to file if you want to file for a hearing. And I tell him that, I'm filing this claim to dispute this matter. And then I also say his WhatsApp message was not a legal document and it was not 60 days notice. He needs to give us proper format, and basically I tell him like what you're doing is not true anyway, so it's illegitimate. If you plan on taking back the house for personal use, you need to give us actually 60 days notice and file properly. Also that basically me and my roommates are not moving out at the end of February because he didn't do anything properly, so too bad, we're staying. So I tell him like we're not moving. Okay, I'm gonna try this blondie. Wow, this is a thick one. That's really good. It actually kind of does taste like Cadbury eggs. Love that. After I send this email to my landlord, that's when shit hits the fan. He then begins messaging me in my WhatsApp, pretending kind of to be our friend. He basically says like, I don't know why you guys are being so difficult. I've been so nice to you guys. And just saying like the mortgage is increased and the electricity bill is out of the roof for the last couple of months. And he's been paying out of his own pocket just to cover the place. That's not my fucking problem. We're paying your mortgage, so why are you complaining that you have to also pay for your mortgage? Like, I'm not sorry. Get a fucking job like the rest of us. I tell him, like, you can legally raise our rent after 12 months, I think like 10% per year or something. I think it's less, like 1% per year. But I was like, you haven't done that, so, like, that's not my fault. And then he says, okay, if that's the route you guys want to take, then I guess I will be moving back in. I guess we're gonna have a lot of face-to-face time. And at this point, I was kind of confused. I thought he was like literally gonna be moving back in to take his house back for personal use still. So I was like, okay, like give the proper 60 days notice and then you can, you know, have your house back. He starts saying like after he moves in, he's gonna put all of the house rules into effect, meaning that there will be no overnight guests. And then I said, okay, I'd like to see this in a lease agreement because he's never provided one. As far as I'm aware, I've never signed anything stating this, which you cannot tell somebody that they cannot have guests. And he was obviously talking about my boyfriend because he's seen my boyfriend before. Essentially, oh, he's just so creepy. He was like sending me weird winky faces being like, okay, let's do this. Okay, I'm gonna try the cupcake, the cinnamon cupcake. Less talking, more eating, and then more talking. It's gonna be good. Oh, wow. I just got a cream cheese icing. That just amazing. Wow. So the entire time that my landlord was messaging me, I was on the phone and off the phone with different agents from the tenant landlord board trying to make sure that I was in the right, that I was, you know, doing my due diligence and filing my forms and, you know, getting all this stuff sorted. So I just wanted to make sure, you know, I was on top of my shit and that I wasn't saying things that like weren't true. I just wanted to make sure that I was covering my own ass, you know? Okay, I think I'm gonna need to stop this video soon because it's getting pretty lengthy, but I'll kind of wrap it up to a point. I want to try some of these other things still. I guess I'll cover until what happened at the end of this month. So I was on and off the phone with different agents and stuff, and I realized that he was trying to move in, like he actually is moved in. He moved in to our house like literally the next weekend. He slept at our house for like 3 days. Put up a fucking camera in our living room because he's such a creep. So there was a camera in my living room the entire month of February, which I couldn't do anything about. Besides it being fucking creepy and disturbing, like it's not illegal, so I couldn't do anything about it besides wait for my hearing from the tenant landlord board. So basically, when you live with your tenant, you're not actually covered under the Residential Tenancies Act. His idea is like, oh, I'm gonna move in, you're gonna live with me, so you're not covered anymore, and you're kind of fucked. And the one lady I called said that, yeah, technically, like, if you're living with the landlord, he can literally kick you out tomorrow. And I was like, well, what the fuck? That can't be right. Another agent I spoke to said, like, technically that's true, but this is kind of a gray area, so I would file for a hearing and kind of dispute that because technically the only person who can kick you out of your place is the tenant landlord board. If he wants to evict you, he has to go through the tenant landlord board to evict you and file the proper paperwork to say, like, what you did wrong, you know? If you didn't do anything wrong in your tenant agreement, there's no way he can make you leave. Oh, this is like 5 pounds. Okay, let's see. It looks really good. That is the thickest cookie I've ever seen. Sorry, my memory card ran out of space, so I had, oh man. I had to delete some footage. I don't even know where I was in this story now, so I'm just like, super confused. Essentially, his idea was like, when he moves in, we're not covered under the Residential Tenancies Act. He can do whatever he wants, he can kick us out, he can like make his own rules. But he told us that we could stay until the end of March because we are basically correct. Like, what he's doing is not right. This is your official 60 days notice, which he told us in my WhatsApp chat, which, like I said, is not official. He said, okay, this is your official 60 days notice. You guys can stay until March if you need to. So, okay, good. So the entire month of February, me and my boyfriend were looking for places for April 1st because I wanted to stay in March. I didn't want to have to deal with my stuff. I wasn't really sure if I had to cancel my trip or not, but I still had this trip to Bali, Indonesia booked, so I was like, obviously I can't cancel my trip. I want to go to Bali. So we were looking for places April 1st. And we looked at like 15 to 20 apartments, 2-bedroom places. We were looking at basement suites, we were looking at main floor suites, apartments, anything really that kind of interested us. But we were obviously looking like April 1st. Also, my boyfriend was in the midst of selling his house, which he sold. The date that he needed to be out is April 24th, so he still has to pay his mortgage up until that date. So we were looking for April 1st, which seemed to be like the perfect date that we needed to move. I ended up filing my claim. Me and my roommate, we both filed. So there was a couple spots on this T2 form that my landlord breached, and they were that he entered the rental unit illegally. I also checked off that he substantially interfered with my reasonable enjoyment of the rental unit or complex, or with the reasonable enjoyment of a member of my household. So, and then I also checked that he harassed, coerced, obstructed, threatened, or interfered with me. At the beginning of February, as soon as this was all going down, I made sure to get those forms in ASAP so that we could file a hearing and that I could ask for my month's rent back, because he literally put the fucking camera in our living room and didn't tell me about it. And he was basically harassing me, threatening me, and intimidating me with the fact that he was going to move back in so that he could take away all of our rights under the Residential Tenancies Act. So those were the 3 areas on the T2 that I filed. I sent those off to the Ontario Tenant Board, paid $50 for them to process it and get that hearing going. Yeah, didn't even think about much after that. For the entire month of February, my landlord has been like, my landlord doesn't even live in my city. He doesn't live in Hamilton. I think he lives in Oakville. He, was claiming that he was living here so that he could fuck us over. I didn't even see him all of February. But I would see his vehicle and I would just run in to grab something and run out because I'm busy. But I didn't see him for the entire month of February, but I knew that he was here like an hour every week. As this was all kind of unfolding and going down, basically I had to cancel my trip. I'm still really upset about it, but there was a lot of like things going on and it just seemed like this was, there was a lot of signs that I should cancel it. My flight to Indonesia also stopped through China. It had a 22-hour layover in China, Shanghai, China, as the coronavirus was developing. So I was a little worried for that for a little while, like kind of watching it, whether it would progress or not. Then because of the coronavirus and all the flights being switched around, they extended my layover from 22 hours to 48 hours, which would be, of course, less time in Bali, which was my final destination. So this was all going on at the same time as, me dealing with my landlord bullshit. And then once the coronavirus started, developing and getting worse, eventually my airline was offering 100% refunds for my flight because it was a Chinese airline. As all of this with my landlord was going down, I knew I'd have to find a place, potentially for March, because I wasn't sure, if he was going to try to fuck me over still. This coronavirus was going on. I wasn't really worried about that, but because my flight was 100% refundable, it made it seem like everything was kind of pushing me towards canceling my trip and staying here and dealing with his bullshit. So that's what I decided to do. I canceled my flight to Indonesia so I could stay here, work, and deal with the mundane bullshit that is my landlord. And for good reason, because this is where I'm going to end it, but it will have to continue. There's more to go, but I'm getting full. Yeah, February's going by. I've already filed my claim, waiting for a hearing date. Not really hearing anything. My landlord has stolen the key to my mailbox, so I can't even check the mail at this point. He's being a complete asshole. I just had a feeling that he was gonna, fuck us over. So even though he said we could stay in March, and I told him, I was like, I'll pay for March when March comes. Or, you know, when you give me a lease agreement because you still haven't, and that is my legal right. Maybe February 26th or 25th, like near the end of the month, he messages in our group chat saying that he is like, for us to move things out of the kitchen so that he can have cleaners come the next day and stuff. And I was like, well, that's weird because I'm staying in March. Then I clued in that he's probably rented it out to another person in March, thinking that we were leaving when he never even fucking asked us, and he told us we could stay in March. So I tell him, me and both my roommate were planning on staying, so I let him know in the group I'm not leaving. And that's when shit really hit the fan, and my landlord just flipped the fuck out. I'm gonna leave most of this in the next video because I'm gonna need to make another video. There's gonna be a hearing, but he flipped the fuck out. He told us to get lawyers. He actually served me letters from his lawyer saying that he's gonna sue me. Told me he's gonna like make my life fucking hell, but I'm gonna end the video here. You're gonna have to wait for part 2 for this to unfold. I won't actually do a part 2 until a resolution has been formed, i.e. until I go to court against my landlord. So as for the end of February, that's kind of how it resolved. There's more to it, which I will go into detail later in the next video. But that is the current situation with my landlord. Stay tuned for part 2 where I will talk about what happened at the end of February. It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So yeah, I should be in Bali right now, but I'm here, you know, dealing with my landlord bullshit. But I will continue that all in another video. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know if you have any questions below or comments. I would love to hear them this time especially, so comment down below. To be continued. Bye guys.